of YouTubes. I am whispering like an AWSMR person. Dad watches them. Or their BFC, I mean. Yeah. We're here with Fortress America Classic. I sound like a smoker, so I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, so Fortress America Classic. You'll see that this board is very different from the one that we put up Sunday. It's not nearly as pretty in my opinion. It doesn't have all the artwork around it, but it's got a classy feel behind it. It doesn't have a counter or a turn marker because the Americans aren't bailed out at turns. They just gotta straight up kill everyone or have the invaders surrender. You got the cards there, the older cards. Got the older sculpts. I don't know what everybody else's opinion is, but I don't feel like this game. I don't feel like the colors are as vibrant as they are in the other one. But that, I mean, that could just be me as well. So,
turn the radio off, by the way?
oh, it's good. I'm about done anyway. But this is just the setup. Got a couple men, some trucks, men. A lot of men and trucks on the front line.
Americans tonight.
The tank there. Oh, I guess that's not on the front line though.
Next week's Risk.
Truck. Risk or 1941 accidents. We're not totally certain yet. Depends on the situation of how many people are here and whatnot. But we'll see. And yeah, so that's just the setup. And I'm not going to be using my city blitz tactic like I was talking about in the other video. Because BFC watched that video and I can't give them any intelligence. I got a separate strategy to try. So we'll be back after turn 1. Guardsman, over and out. Alright, turn 1's done. We're on turn 2 now. We're going into turn 2. So this is what's happened. Invaders pushing a little bit. The Americans retook DC. The Americans retook that zone there with that guy.
Yeah.
They attacked Los Angeles, but we held with a man. Or I held with a man.
Yeah.
They retook that territory as well. That's pretty much it.
The invaders pushed in their initial push. DC
So,
is definitely hard to hold for the invaders, I think. Especially at first.
So, I mean, I don't think anything really remarkable happened. I mean, your bombers didn't really, your bombers let you really down, and you got diced kind of hard there in DC with your bombers and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
with the tanks hit.
But, yeah, you still took it, so that's good. Anything else? Is there that I'm missing?
We had we drew some destroy cards, so we destroyed a couple of tanks and a couple of infantry.
Oh yeah, personally, those are the kinds that I like to draw in the beginning, because the destroy cards destroy units where you still got some on the board, or you still got some Americans on the board, and start reinforcing them late game, and when you've already destroyed a lot of invaders and you know, so. But who knows if it'll ever be enough. So yeah, I guess that'll be it. And we'll see you after turn 3. And it is the end of turn 2.
Yeah.
And well, the blue guys are not moving as much as I'd like them to, but I think they can break out. The red guys, the strategy is working beautifully. It's beautifully working. I love it. And the yellow guys, look at that. Undefended Salt Lake. That's awesome. So all we got to do is pop these couple cities, reinforce our lines, and their goals will be done. And yeah, so BFC, what's yours? Any of your thoughts?
It's interesting. At least I've been trying to retake cities to get some extra reinforcements. I've retaken 3.
We got 2 cards.
DC twice back.
Yep, we got 2 cards next time, plus the 2 regular. So that's gonna.
How many cities you got so far? Do you know?
2, 4, 5. So you're holding me back pretty well, but if my plan works, I'm gonna skyrocket pretty soon. So.
Yeah.
And I guess yeah.
Trying to hang in there.
So I guess we'll see you after turn 3.
Yep.
Yep.
See you soon.
Right, turn 3.
We just finished turn
Right.
3, right?
And my guys are looking pretty weak. I'm not gonna lie.
Blue guys look
Especially
tough.
the red. The blue guys may be on the verge of a breakthrough, but the red, they just don't have enough troops. My plan maybe not so working. I thought it was working, but it wasn't working out so well.
I'm trying to get guys in just to clog holes and retake cities.
I think the blues can do a lot of damage this turn.
Yeah.
And the yellows, I think the yellows can tidy it up pretty good too. But we shall see.
The Americans actually retook Atlanta that turn.
And yeah, they did retake Atlanta, so they got an extra card.
They're still holding.
And
On the coast. You took Florida though. You busted in and pushed them out pretty quick.
yeah, they were gonna be a
It's hard to
pester.
hold that.
So,
But you pushed them out of the way pretty easily.
is there anything else? Do you
I
know?
don't think so. We got 3 lasers up.
Alright. Oh, I guess we'll see you after turn 4 then. Alright, we're going into turn 5, what do you think? So, update.
It's been fun.
Still looking pretty sparse for the invaders.
Supernova tried a different little strategy.
Yeah. We did find a flaw with the game. Me and BFC have both come to the conclusion that you have absolutely no strategic creativity as the invaders. If you, and I guess the jig's up now, but here's my plan, right? You got a cluster of cities here, cluster of cities up there, and a cluster of cities here. I'm gonna focus my yellow guys here, take the 2 up there when this was secure, take this and push up this way, take this, push it up this way, and then they were gonna pincer these guys behind the lines. However, in this game, you have to move as a wall. If you don't, as the invaders, you're doomed to fail. That's the only strategy that you can use to win without like extreme luck.
Otherwise you have stuff
Yeah.
popping up in the
Up in the middles,
yeah. That was causing problems.
So even while mine would be a more realistic approach, because if somebody invaded America and they wanted to take cities, they'd want to obviously focus their forces where a lot of the cities were. But in the game, that you kind of create holes for the enemy to pop up in and kind of stab you in the gut there.
Yeah.
So you really, the invaders. It kind of
delay the invasion in the game.
I wish the game had more area or something, because it needs a lot of work. It really does, because the invaders have to move as a wall this way, and this way, and this way. And if you do that, there's no hope for the Americans. The invaders will win every time, unless something horrible happens to the invaders, like horrible dice or something. And now if you try to change make any drastic changes like I did, it's like even my game with Peter earlier in the week, I still had the kind of wall movement holding my lines. I didn't try and focus and purposely leave territory open like I did in this game. So I mean, yeah, if you try to make any significant change to the strategy, you're doomed to failure. So that kind of sucks. But honestly, and my rolls haven't even been that bad. They've been pretty average. But the American rolls have been phenomenal.
They've been hitting a lot.
They've been extraordinary.
My lasers hit 3 out of 4 lasers.
And his defenders have been hitting almost every time. Almost every single person.
Especially the big, like the aircraft. Because, like, I've been
Well,
hitting,
you had what, 3 men versus like, and all 3 men hit? Well, 2 men hit and 1 got disengaged.
Yeah.
Took away combined arms. They held
still-
Phoenix.
So that, because otherwise you would have taken.
I mean, Phoenix hasn't held a single time. See, now normally Phoenix is one of the first one to fall. I like to keep this as the Western invaders. They come there and down. That's not too big of a deal. And then the blue move up to Phoenix. But I decided to leave this to the yellows because I wanted them to take this group, and then the 2 cities up there, the stragglers, come in once they were done. But they never even took Phoenix. And then the blue guys tried, and they failed. And now we got these guys popping up because their lines are spread too thin. You know what I mean? Because they tried to come this way. And so I don't see much hope for the invaders. But honestly, this is kind of a breath of fresh air. Really, it's nice to see the Americans win. Between myself and BFC, we've been war gamers. I've personally been a war gamer, like this kind of war games, for 5-6 years maybe. BFC's been a war gamer since the 80s, you know what I mean? Since Fortress America and Axis and Allies Classic came out. And between the two of us, we've easily played 100 games, if not more, Fortress America. Between the two copies, you know, not against each other, but playing against ourselves, against the other people, and playing against each other. And I've seen the Americans win once, and then if you count this twice, we're still going to keep playing this. And BFC's seen it once. So let's just round it up to 100. The Americans have a win rate of 2 to 100. They win 2 games out of every 100. That, ladies and gentlemen, that's 2% of the games that the Americans win. I don't know. And the new game actually, the new game, they moved a couple of the cities closer, and they actually gave the invaders cards and buffed the invaders. So I don't know if there's a strategy out there or some type of technique that people discovered that just makes America win every time, but we have yet to discover it. Because unless you get like really bad luck as the invaders, even if the Americans get really good luck, if you get mediocre luck as the invaders and follow the wall strategy, you'll win every time. But if you experiment at all with the invaders or get unbelievably bad luck, that's really the only hope Americans have. But like I said, it's a breath of fresh air because the Americans winning this game happens more often than the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. You know, that's never happened. Exactly. You know what I mean? And it's very close. They're very close to each other. But so it's nice to see the Americans win once in a while. Oh man, I just had something right on the tip of my tongue, but I forgot what it was.
Well, the Invaders could still win this game.
And even though a lot of the games we say, oh, the Americans were close, well, they were close to holding the game off for one more round. They would need to take like 4 or 5 cities, and they take all but one or something. And then all that would happen is the invaders come by the next round and smack them, and they get double the cities. You know what I mean? And so now they got to take 12 back. So the Americans really are never really that close. In every now and then they are. But most of the games, they're close to pushing the game on one more round. But this is one of the rare occasions I think they might actually win. And so,
like, I've been trying to harass behind the lines to make your guys like slow them down and stuff.
So if you're watching this video and you know some secret to the Americans to make them overpowered, tell us, please. We beg you, please. But
their dice rules play a factor too.
But I did kind of want to try this more realistic style strategy for the invaders once and see how it happened, because I figured maybe focusing my forces I could blitz through and take a lot of cities faster before the cards got too in depth. Oh, and the American cards have been pretty good too.
The cards have been phenomenal. I haven't had one wasted card, and like they keep popping up exactly where I need them. Like here.
The American cards have been good too.
These guys got an infiltration squad in there.
So, yeah, but it was fun. At least I got to try a different strategy.
Yeah.
I know never to do it again if I ever want to win, but oh well.
Oh yeah, we're probably gonna this next week we're gonna play a different game. We think maybe we could have people vote on it.
No one's watching this video.
Well,
no one's gonna vote.
If anybody does watch it.
If anybody watches this, it's gonna be you and me. Let's be realistic here. So, oh well. What is it? Turn 4 or 5 or something? I don't know.
Going into turn 5, and so you got 2 more rounds of reinforcements.
All right. Well, we'll see, because maybe the blue guys can patch up this hole here, save the day.
I like this
But
game a lot. I enjoy playing it.
you know, I really do like this game. It's a very interesting concept, but eventually it gets scripted. It gets very scripted with the invaders always just take a wall and push it this way, take a wall, push it that way, take a wall, push it that way, and the Americans almost always lose. I mean, people, they got a 2% win percentage. I never have.
I not even with myself.
The only time I've ever been beaten by the Americans is because the blue guys got diced hard. They took a total of 2 cities the entire game because of the dice. And at least this game, it was more the strategy that got them on there. So I'd be happy if I lost in this game. I really would. I'd see the invaders lose without them being diced. So, like I said, a 2% win percentage for the Americans, that's pathetic. And it's very scripted. Almost the same thing happens every single time. So
also of note, just as of a factual note, these guys here are supplied through this one guy down here. What is that? Virginia or North Carolina? I think North Carolina.
I don't know.
One guy.
That's kind of insignificant now because I think the invader force is collapsing, but it gets very. This is a twice a year game or something, or maybe 3 times a year game. If you play it month after month after month, it's going to be very scripted, very fast. So, well, I guess we better get moving on. So,
in a few minutes,
in round 6 or 5 or 4 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 11 or whatever, I'll just say all the numbers. All right, bye. Well, we are back after the game, and we have declared an American victory. There's nothing but men left for the invaders, and we've calculated the odds. They can take, if they're unbelievably lucky, they can take a maximum of 4 cities, and they need 5 to win.
I got all kinds of reinforcements over here, which enable me to retake Salt Lake.
And so Salt Lake won't fall again. The blue guys have done halfway decent, I guess.
Blue guys have done pretty good, actually.
The invaders started out as getting halfway decent rolls, just like normal, which is fine. And towards the end, they were getting, they couldn't hit anything. I mean, for instance, I had combined arms
versus Atlanta,
and 2 full stacks here and here versus Atlanta, which had 4 units. And just so you know, he hit every single guy, and I retreated with everybody that was left. There's still quite a bit. I retreated 1 partisan back. That's it. He's there in Memphis now.
Yeah.
You know?
These guys got hit hard because you attacked from here and here, and they got wiped out.
And those guys, every single one of them hit too. So all the lasers hit. I don't think the Americans. I can't remember a time when they missed for like the last 3 or 4 rounds. They've hit every single thing they shot at.
I think one of the men.
So that's pretty remarkable. And the red guys really let us down, the invaders. So we're calling it an American victory, which is definitely an impressive. Which is definitely an impressive feat, and always enjoyable to see. Yeah, and I think that's probably what hurt me the most was the strategy, because then
at least you tried it.
It hurt my beginning game too much, and then the end game I was too weak.
You didn't want to go with the same boring thing, you know.
And I mean, they got more cards coming in, so I mean, look at this.
What was that?
They just commercial aircraft converted in Minneapolis. So the American Air Force is back, baby. And guess what? My air forces are all gone.
There's no way you could have taken.
Oh, look at this. More guys. Resistance grows in 1 or 2 Western Sector territories.
See, it was just going to keep expanding.
Clear weather improves accuracy of all lasers. So he would have taken easily another 3 or 4 cities on his turn.
Yeah, interesting.
Easily.
Seattle actually never fell in this game.
Boom! He would have taken that because the lasers would have ripped him to shreds. You know what I mean?
Your Blues are
If he
strong,
could have got
but-
behind the line, those guys there, I mean, he's got that there.
Reds just got beat down big time.
DC's bound to fall.
Where's
So-
the Red Air Force now? What's left of it?
There is none. Oh, well, there's one bomber in DC. So we're calling it.
I don't know if you could still win.
And we're not accustomed to calling games early, but it's not possible. we did the odds, and it's not possible for the
And the thing is, like,
for
usually
the Invaders to
the
win.
first time you get 18, you usually get knocked back at least once.
Yeah.
And but I don't know if you'd be able to recover. From
I'd never be able to get 18. That's
because
the
we
problem.
just the cards have been so like strong in this game.
Well, the cards, I'd say, they've been strong, but I wouldn't say they were remarkable. What was really unbelievably strong was their rolls.
Yeah.
And then towards the end there, my rolls got unbelievably horrible.
Yeah. The rules will let you down at the end.
So-
Mine were like my lasers, I had 5 lasers, 3 of them hit with 10s, which is a direct hit, the highest number. And
Well,
the 2
whether they
others-
hit with a 5 or a 10 doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
The fact is they hit,
they all hit.
and every single one of them hit, which is rare. And so,
There's a lot of
note:
strength over here for the Americans,
never
really.
change your strategy as the Invaders. You will lose. And
This over here wasn't bad because sometimes you can feign up here and come in through there, and then they'll weaken this, and then you can push in, which I've done that before. But at the West, it's almost like you have to get these guys up.
well, you can't
Otherwise,
stretch them
it's
too
much-
thin either.
It's too much open.
You can't stretch them too thin either. I don't like stretching them past the western sector, or at most the Rocky
Yeah.
Mountains.
Once they get into the plains, it's usually only 1 or 2 guys, you know.
Yeah, and then they start leaving holes open. The supplies
Yeah.
get cut.
That is hard because you get a card that says destroy 1, boom, and then you can put your guys
So-
there. What can you do? You know.
Yep, never change your strategy as the Invaders. We've experimented for you.
I am impressed with the Americans.
And,
I don't think I've ever won with the Americans before.
It is impressive, very impressive. And it's nice to see the Americans win sometimes. Like I said, including today, I've seen them win twice out of more than 100 games.
But have you ever
Easily.
played this before too? When you've had cards that were wasted because for whatever reason you couldn't play them.
Yes, I have. But
That always hurts.
I've never had where it was a massive amount of cards wasted.
Yeah.
Normally, if you waste any cards, it's like 1 or 2.
But even that hurts. you.
Max.
'Cause
Max
cards
1 or
are
2.
an amazing help for the Americans.
So, I place the American victory a lot on the strategy, the poor strategy of the Invaders,
Yeah.
as well as the amazing dice rolls of the Americans. And that was a spectacle to see. So this has been Fortress America, the classic. And so
Hope you enjoyed it, Tom.
this is anything to add before we sign off?
Oh, we never read a fact, did we?
Oh
Guess
no.
we're gonna do facts in this one.
No, oops. I don't think me and Peter never read a fact on Sunday either, so.
Oh, here's a fact. I'm gonna record Iron Eagle on the 8th, which I'm kind of. It reminds me of this game for some reason.
Here's a fact. This right there, that's a blue arrow. You know? So yeah. So
Oh, and also about this game where like the American supply lines really can't be cut, which in real life I don't know if it would necessarily be like that. I mean, you could have little partisans surviving, but like whole armies and stuff in there, like that would be tough. Because you did have some guys surrounded at one point, didn't you?
I'm sure. I don't know.
But I don't know. I like this game.
I like it, but like I said, it gets scripted, and you follow the script, and it gets scripted very fast. You play 5 games, and it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, we've played a lot. We've probably saturated this game with And like I said, that's between all the games I've played against myself, against him, against Peter, against anybody else, all the games he's played. So with both this and the new version, all together we probably had about 100 games of Fortress America, and a total of 3 confirmed out of 100. So
there was one time I thought you were going to beat me with the Americans, and somehow I had 2 guys up here that held on, and then I ended up winning.
Well, that's how it normally goes.
Yeah.
There's always one thing that knocks the Americans out, and because everybody always thinks the Americans are going to pull it out right at the end, and they never do. And because that is a pattern that I've noticed. The 2 times I've seen the Americans win, they were never in dire situations like that. They were fairly secure the whole time.
Yeah.
Whenever an American's in a dire situation, they've always lost. Always.
So you gotta pick your battles wisely as Americans.
Every time the Americans have won, this game and the game against Peter, they were fairly secure the whole time.
Don't you think also, like, if you're as an American, if you can force invaders to go back to fight, that helps? Because instead of advancing, they're falling back to mop up.
It probably does help. Maybe not so much earlier as it does later, because earlier they can just send more guys forward.
I mean, your planes can move back and forth pretty easily, but if you're moving tanks and choppers back, that's going to slow you down.
Yes, but
sometimes you have to, though.
Yes, but listen to what I just said. If it's the early game, they just send more guys up and keep these guys moving forward.
Yeah.
My problem was I never plugged the holes. So I was kind of coming in like this, and these guys were coming in like that, and those guys like that, and then I was just leaving those holes. And so I think that was the poor strategy of the Invaders.
In real life, that might actually work better, though, if this was a real
Oh, it most certainly would. If you tried to have a front from Louisiana all the way to New Mexico, a continuous front, you'd have to have an absurdly massive army. There's no way. You'd have to do pincers and cut in with your armies. And but in this game, if you try to do it realistically, you'll get slaughtered every time. So, well, good game.
Yeah,
It's always fun to see the Americans win. And that's it for tonight. Signing off, the Guardsman. Over and out.